Live from the Anaheim Convention Center, you are watching a special D23 Expo edition of the Diz Unplugged.
Hey everyone, welcome to this very special episode of the Diz Unplugged. I don't know what type of edition this actually is. It's slightly Disney World, slightly Disneyland, slightly Universal, I guess, too, if we want to throw that in there. All sorts of...
Trip out.
Yeah, that I guess that too, and the trip. So we've really got everyone represented.
Everyone's here.
I, of course, am Craig Williams, and joining with me is Tom Bell.
Hello.
Michael Bowling.
Hello, hey there, hi there, ho there.
And that was a very great intro, Tom.
Thank you.
It's a lot to try to
get everybody in,
and do everything at once. So I appreciate you jumping on board with that. So
and it's great to have the boys back together again.
Oh yeah, no. 2 years ago we did this for the very first time, and it was outside of the convention center, not inside like this. Yeah, no. This is definitely a much better setup. We are actually recording from our booth. If you're here and for some reason you are watching us at home too,
standing in line.
Yeah, I don't know what's really going on, but come by and say hi to us at some point in time. You can sign up for a bunch of great stuff. But for everyone at home, right now we're just going to try to go over some of the big events that happened today and really give you an idea of everything going on that we have already seen so far.
Right.
Which is not that much, just because it started for us only
3 hours
about
ago.
3 hours ago. Anyway, let's jump right into it. So, yesterday we actually had an opportunity to see a media preview of the Disneyland exhibit that they have going out there, which is kind of one of the big...
That's the archives, right?
Yeah, it's the Walt Disney Archives is presenting it, so it's one of the really the big things that you shouldn't miss there, because they're showing off pieces of Disneyland history all throughout basically the run from day one opening, because they have the very first admission ticket on there, all the way up to some of the greatest costumes and the Phantasmic Dragon Head. But before we even get into everything that we've seen today, we're actually going to run a very short video of everything that went on last night. So we are going to go ahead and cut to that now, and we will be back with you. Okay, well, that was last night, so...
Very cool. I can't wait to get in there and get a close look.
Yeah, am I the only one who's been in there so far?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, no, it was absolutely fantastic. It's definitely a highlight, something that everyone should see on this trip.
Right.
But so far, the highlight of this morning, I think, in everyone's opinion, at least those who attended it, would be the Disney Legends inductions. And we had actually lucky enough to have Michael in it, as well as Rhino and Corey. Corey's not here to speak about it, but, well, right now we have Michael. So, Michael, I'm going to throw it over to you.
So we'll settle for Michael?
Yeah, we'll settle for Michael. You know, he's Michael. But.
Oh, well. I'm not just beauty. This was definitely the highlight. It was filled with way more surprises than we have ever had in previous Disney Legends ceremonies. Bob Iger opened up the expo and the Disney Legends ceremony. Bob Iger is the chairman and CEO of the Walt Disney Company. The opening music was interesting because it was the Festival of Fools from Hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm not sure if somebody was making a commentary there on that. He talked about, they also showed a sizzle reel, as they do at every expo, of all the accomplishments in the last couple of years of the Disney family of companies. It started out, though, with Walt Disney saying, let me tell you a little about our next big plans. And that, of course, was from when Walt Disney was introducing Disneyland to the television audience. And Bob talked about how he has the happiest job on earth, and it's an e-ticket, and that few companies have such a legacy of the past and of limitless future. Talked about now led into the Legends ceremony, saying how now they're going to honor the lifetime achievements of the men and women who made the magic possible. Some of the people that they introduced was Julie Reams-Castelletta from Parks and Resorts. She, of course, is the first Disneyland ambassador, and she was a tour guide before becoming the first ambassador. What was funny is this tied back to when I saw Marty Sklar recently. They showed the clip from when Walt Disney was showing her around for the 10th anniversary of the park. And after Marty talked about that and said, try writing for a man that's always off script. And then Julie said, Walt went over the script, he gave it to me, I went over the script, and then Walt said, let's go scriptless. And she said she had no idea what he was going to say or what she was supposed to say. She's still as lovely and gracious as she was, 50 years ago. Let's see. Another thing is that they recognized then Disney legends who have passed away. And then they brought in one of the greatest Disney ambassadors, and that was Richard Sherman. And he remembered a story when Walt Disney was a boy, and Walt Disney, when he was 10, saw fireworks, and how that really stayed with him, the impact it had on him, so that when he was building Disneyland, he always said he was going to end the day with a big, grand fireworks extravaganza, and that would be the kiss goodnight for the guests to thank them for coming. So he wrote a song that they play at our fireworks at Disneyland, A Kiss Goodnight. He started to sing it and said, you know what? I have a surprise for you, because at D23 there's always surprises. He brought out Ashley Brown, who was of course, the first Mary Poppins on Broadway, and she sang the song A Kiss Goodnight. And then they honored George Bodenheimer, who had a 33-year career at ESPN, and he accepted the award on behalf of everyone at ESPN. Then they started out with this gorgeous montage of all this background animation from Sleeping Beauty. And then they had two dancers from Dancing with the Stars, who my wife could probably tell you who they were. And they did this beautiful waltz to Once Upon a Dream from Sleeping Beauty. And this was to honor Ivan Earle, who did the background painting started out with Peter Pan, but he's most notable for all of the beautiful artistic work he did for the film Sleeping Beauty. And his wife, his daughter, accepted on his behalf. And she said even after he left Disney to start his own career as an artist, the thing he was most proud of was that people remembered that he was a Disney artist. Then, of course, we had Susan Lucci, who came out as...
She finally won.
She finally won as 40 years as Erica Kane, and how she was the icon of all television characters. And the interesting thing is that Bob Iger's first job in 1974 with ABC was to be assigned to All My Children. And that's how he first met Susan Lucci. And she said that being a Disney legend is the icing on a cake of being an actress at ABC. Then there was, next they brought up Carson Van Ostern, who is in charge of consumer products at Disneyland, or for Disney Company. He started out being a comic strip artist, drawing Mickey Mouse. And he said Mickey Mouse always made him smile. And he remembered that one of the happiest days of his life was when he was made a full-time artist on the Mickey Mouse comic strips. And he said this day today is another one of the best days of his life. And he remembered Pablo Picasso saying that all children are artists until they are taught not to be. And his mother never taught him not to be, and that she encouraged him to develop his talent just as he was encouraged to develop his talent at the Walt Disney Company. Some of the people that they did tributes to were Frank Gifford, Blaine Gibson, Cicely Rigdon, Dick Jones, Bob Thomas, Mitt Albright, and Walt Paragoy. And then, of course, they ended it with Robin Williams. He had perhaps the slightly longest clips. And then they brought out Josh Strickland, who was Tarzan on Broadway, to sing You'll Be in My Heart.
Nice.
And then in honor of Robin Williams, because it's been a year since he passed away, Neo came out and performed A Friend Like Me, which is a cut that he's performed for a new Disney album that's coming out. So he really brought the house on. I'd buy this just for that song. He was really good. Then they brought out animator Andreas Deja. He said as his life-changing experience when he was at the age of 10, he lived in Germany and he saw the Jungle Book. So it was life before Jungle Book and life after Jungle Book. He told his parents he was going to be a Disney animator, and they thought he was nuts. And they still thought he was nuts when he brought a one-way ticket to the United States in order to get a job at the Disney Company. He did. He started out working on The Black Cauldron, worked with some of the Nine Old Men on that film. Worked on Roger Rabbit, Prince and a Pauper, Fantasia 2000. He's drawn Scar, Jafar, Hercules, Leo, King Triton, and on and on. And he said, so I guess this means the company likes what I've done for the last 30 years. He actually teared up and started crying when he said that. He was at a film festival and a student came up to him and said, Mr. Deja, thank you for drawing my childhood. So that was a very moving moment. Then the next one they brought out was Danny Elfman. And he grew up surrounded by music. He started out as the lead singer of Oingo Boingo. But his life changed when Tim Burton asked him to score the soundtrack for Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So since then, he's scored all of Tim Burton's films, as well as other Disney films, Disney television shows, such as Desperate Housewives, and the Mystic Manor attraction as well. So then, in honor of Danny Elfman's work, they brought out James Monroe, who's the genie on Broadway in Aladdin, and he sang Oogie Boogie's song, which, again, another really nice surprise that they did. And then my little pages on my infamous yellow notepad are sticking together. Then
is that the same notepad from last year?
No, okay. These are brand new ones. And then the Star Wars music starts up. And they do all these clips from all the different Star Wars films.
Now, we're going to be actually playing some of George Lucas's speech, if not all of it. So don't go into any detail on that. But Go on. Sorry.
Well,
Spoiler alert.
They had George Lucas there. They went through his whole history. Bob Iger said that George Lucas is one of the greatest storytellers of all time, and he went on to see that George, not only did he make great films, but he had to invent the technology so that he could create the films that he wanted to create. George hired Ed Catmull and John Lasseter to form the Pixar company. And C-3PO also joined George Lucas on stage. And George talked about his 60 years and how with Disney, because he came to Disneyland on the second day it was open.
Wow.
And he derives the inspiration for his films from the inspiration he gets from Disney. And did you know the inspiration...
I want to hear it from him.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't sure if you had this one, but okay.
I think did you put all of it in Rhino? Oh, yeah,
okay.
it's in there.
Nice.
You'll find some interesting inspiration. Then there was the surprise. There was a legend that was not announced. And suddenly we start seeing all these clips for Pirates of the Caribbean and Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass. And Johnny Depp is introduced by Bob Iger. And Bob Iger said that Johnny Depp redefined Pirates of the Caribbean for a whole new generation. And in fact, a Pirates of the Caribbean land is being developed at Shanghai Disneyland. And then Johnny Depp came out saying, "So I don't know why I'm here. I really don't." So typical Johnny Depp. But he said, "The only reason I am here is because of the fans." But he didn't like the word fans because it made you think that there's people on top and people on the bottom. So he prefers to refer to all of us as his employers. But he said seriously that he was really honored to be inducted as a Disney legend with the likes of all the other folks that were inducted today and before him, and that he will treasure it, and hopefully hopes that this means he'll get to meet Mickey Mouse.
Nice.
And with that was the end of the Disney Legends ceremony for 2015. I think it was one of the best, lots of surprises, and I think this is indicative of the surprises that we're going to get this whole weekend.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for sharing all of that. I know you're going to be running off here to get to the next event that we have whenever we'll talk about it later. So thank you so much for joining us. And for everyone who's watching right now, we are going...
real soon.
Yeah, we are going to start showing the Legends ceremony right now. So here you go for everyone at home.
The Disney Legends Award is the highest honor our company can bestow on anyone, and it's reserved for the truly exceptional men and women who make the magic happen. Our legends come from diverse backgrounds in virtually every creative discipline, and the one thing they have in common is that they have earned their own special place in Disney history, along with our deep respect and sincere gratitude for their tremendous contributions.
Shaved this morning and I got pixie dust all over me. I'm very, very honored to get this award. I've been really associated with Disney for 60 years now. I started the second day the parks opened. I was here, and I've been here every year since. And then in Florida, and then in Paris, and then in Tokyo, and look forward to Shanghai. Disney has always given me a great, great deal of inspiration. A lot of what I do came out of the joy, the awe, the experience I had in the movies, on television, and in the parks. And that's what I was trying to pass on with my work, was to inspire and make people have funny thoughts and think that they can do anything. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how much of an influence Disney has been on me. I will say one secret that nobody knows, but this may get you in trouble. So, and that really scares him when I say things like that. Not very many people realize that Goofy was the inspiration for Jar Jar Binks. I know you'll look at him differently now, because it's pretty obvious actually, but I love Goofy, and I love Jar Jar Binks. And I just try to remember back what it was like when I was young, and what I got from Disney. I'm very happy to be here. I'm with two of my daughters. One of them is older and is sitting there trying to get into the movie business, just like me. The other one is 2 years old, and we're re-going through the park, realizing to watch it through her eyes is an amazing experience. And my oldest daughter still is completely obsessed with the parks and gets frightened on all of the, it's a small world and all that kind of stuff. Not the little one, my older one. But in the end, I think Disney has given me back much more than I've given Disney. I worked for years and years and years. We were together and apart and together and doing things all over the place. So it's a funny relationship, a friendship. We've been friends for a long time. I've never actually worked for Disney. I think Strange Magic's the only movie I ever made for you. I'm very happy that after all these years of pushing to get more and more Star Wars and Indiana Jones into the parks, the only way I could think of to do it was to get Bob to buy the company. So it's a great honor, and thank you very much.
Wow, that was an awesome speech. I mean, whoops, got a little feedback. I forgot to turn off the volume on my computer.
Oops.
Sorry about that, everyone, for that 10
10
seconds there. No, that was a great speech, Tom. You didn't hear it, obviously, because I have the only headphones. Rhino,
See how you are?
Rhino, you heard it.
I did hear it, yeah.
Welcome.
Am I close enough for you? I'm not used to this. It's such a cool setup here. I don't know.
I know. We should just make this the Bob Varley Studio Part 2.
Yeah.
NX.
Exactly. But,
yeah. So it was a cool. This is my first D23, and that was my first panel or first thing I've done today.
Have you wandered around yet and seen all these costumes?
No, I literally got a little lost actually coming back here because I wasn't even sure what floor I was on. So it was a really awesome way to kickstart the day, waking up at 4:30 and going to get in line for that thing. But it was worth it.
Right?
Yes,
okay.
It ended up being worth it. There was a lot of cool stuff. I mean, Michael gave a pretty great rundown of everything that happened, but do you want me to...
I want you to give your highlights, your favorite things about it.
Okay.
He did the bulk. You tell me what was good about it now.
Well, Bob Iger's a pretty great presenter, I feel like. So he's got... he started it off, and he started with some of Star Wars remarks that I actually thought were pretty cool. He was saying he's seen the film. He thinks it's great. He says it's great. I know he is a big fan because he talked about how he always saw them when he was a kid, and that was the thing he always wanted to bring into Disney. So he had a lot to say about it, how it's going to be have a really strong presence across the company. No allusion to any sort of Star Wars announcement this weekend, but...
hint.
But it was cool. He did. I feel like as a fan of those films, he did say that his he thanked Lucas personally at the very beginning of this ceremony, and then he said it's the company's top priority to make him proud. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of a nice,
wow.
a little
big words.
A very nice comment there. For me, I thought when Richard Sherman came out and the piano was there, I was like, I don't even know what to think right now because I love Mary Poppins and the Sherman Brothers and that. And then when Ashley Brown came out and they sang that A Kiss Goodnight, I mean, she is a phenomenal singer. I could have sworn to God that would have been auto-tuned or whatever because she was just flawless. So, I'm sure we'll load a video up so people can check that out later too.
So you have more videos coming up as well, right?
Oh, I certainly do. I'll probably break them down and maybe do a little sizzle highlight reel or something like that. I'm thinking because it was overall everybody, even the people that I went into not being as familiar with. I was actually really impressed with how they did the presentation. Everybody's speeches were nice, but they were to the point. and their videos the presentations they did for them were great. The in memoriam. There it is.
Hey.
Yeah. In memoriam to Robin Williams, I thought was pretty good because I thought it was crazy that Neo was there, and he did Never Had a Friend Like Me, and I thought that was a pretty good performance. But my favorite musical performance that we were treated to was when Danny Elfman, just before Danny Elfman's award, they brought out James. God, I forgot his name.
James Monroe Englehart.
Okay, I knew his name was James Monroe something. It's just that last name I can't get it.
Yeah.
You guys are like this, right?
Oh yeah, I got to meet him on the elevator of our hotel, but I'm not saying what hotel. But if you follow me on Facebook, you know what hotel I'm staying in, and now you know what hotel he stayed in.
It's funny because I know him from that Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt when he was on there, and he's like a Broadway diva, and so I had to look him up, and then I was like, oh my God, this guy is the genie in Aladdin.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool. You could have sworn that he was Oogie Boogie in the movie. That is how fantastic his performance was. He did great. And you know what? It actually, that was kind of a crazy moment for me because I started to think about when my mother took me to see Nightmare Before Christmas in the movie theater in third grade, and I remember sitting there and just knowing I was watching something that was so different but so amazing, and the music just stayed with me my whole life. So it kind of is this. It is just I got a little emotional. And then Danny came up. He gave I thought his speech was the best one though because he immediately was like, oh, I've been in the business since 1923 and blah blah blah, all this stuff. And he said, first off, I need to thank the Morlocks or the Warlocks below me here, and he started banging on the floor. So that was a lot of fun. George Lucas coming out accompanied by C-3PO and R2-D2. You really can't
that's a classic moment.
Yeah, I mean that is the definition of legend right there. But one of my favorite moments in that speech that we just watched though is Mr. Lucas, excuse me.
Yeah.
He makes a quote. He says something about
he
how
works for Disney now. He's George.
Yeah, that is true. First name basis. So he says how he always wanted to make people have funny thoughts and be inspired like that. And I don't know. I thought that was a really interesting quote, and I really appreciated hearing that from him. But and I got to tell you, when that was over, I was like, okay, we're all done. We know the lineup. And when Bob Iger was like, I know we love surprises at D23, and then the lights went out, and that sizzle reel of Johnny Depp's career came up, I lost my mind because I have seen every Johnny Depp movie, and I am just a huge fan of his, and I just thought he was incredible. Michael talked about that quote he said, how we're always employers. The guy's he might have had a long night last night. I don't know. He seems a little, I don't want to say drunk. I'm not going to say this, but he's got a good fun personality on him. So
you know what? If he was drunk on camera, that's his right. He's Johnny Depp.
He's Johnny Depp. Yeah. I if there was a bottle of rum that had gone down that gullet before he came out, I wouldn't have been surprised. But he's great. He said something. He was like, "There's a word I'm not quite, I feel weird about saying," and someone in the audience yelled out "parlay," and so he went into a little Jack Sparrow kind of a thing there. But we'll have that video up, so that's a good one to check out too. So.
So anything else, or was that about it?
No, I mean, and that was good. I have to say that I got here at 6, and then it's 1:30 right now, and I don't feel like it's been that long. So things are rushing by here. Just a lot to see, a lot to do.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you for coming on and joining us here. So you are going to be leaving now.
I'm going to slowly fade out here.
Yeah, just don't walk in front of the camera, please. That would be really awkward. So right now, nice. We're just going to kick it to, I was going to kick it to JL, but she walked away. So, Tom, why don't we just jump on what you did today?
Okay, cool. First of all, I've been at the booth all day, meeting lots of fans, lots of listeners, which is awesome. Then I went and checked out the big retro Disneyland slideshow, which is hosted by Charles Phoenix, and you've heard us talk about him on the show a lot before. He's a Southern California local guy that goes to estate sales and yard sales and picks up old school slides, and he'll put them together in a presentation, make up stories about the people in there, but you get to see a lot of really cool stuff from 1950s and 60s Disneyland.
Oh, yeah.
Old shots of old Tomorrowland and even older Tomorrowland. the Chicken of the Sea restaurant, just things like that. And he's really funny. Like I said, he'll make up stories about the people in the slides. But it's a great way to see, and great entertaining way to see old school Disney, old school Southern California. He does the slideshows all over the area, whether it be about Disneyland or about other things in SoCal.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Well, we actually have a clip, so we're going to jump on that clip right
cool.
now and show it for everyone. So this is actually from last night, not from the one that Tom attended, but this will give you just a little bit of an idea of what it was like at the retro Disneyland slideshow.
There you go.
Here we go.
Back in the day, it was the perfect place to pose in all of Tomorrowland. Yes, it was, ladies and gentlemen, indeed. And here you have a lovely family from San Marino. The daughter's name is Wally. I don't know why, it just is. Brother David, Mother Nell. A voodoo doll collector, I will have you know, but never mind that. We're not talking about voodoo dolls right now. We're talking about the Kaiser Aluminum Man. The man of the future, you guys. Apparently they were predicting doom in 1986. Look at him, he's got a bubble, he's got a computer around his waist, he's got a neck pad, elbow pads, and knee pads. Yeah, I'm not sure what they were thinking in 1986, but I do know that in order to appreciate the future, you must appreciate the past. Oh, yes. How about that moment when you walk into Disneyland? I don't know about you, but I always feel like you get that whoa moment in your soul, in your spirit, that you're here, you have arrived, and then for about 20 seconds, 25 seconds, you think you own Disneyland for a minute? I know, I always think that, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't own Disneyland, what am I thinking? But you just feel so also I love the feeling when you walk in that, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm every age that I ever was, all rolled into one. So collectively, my age at Disneyland is like 11. And I love that. I love that feeling of agelessness when I go to Disneyland. And I always take a ride on the little Main Street cable car and go shopping at the Emporium and just stand there and go, I feel right now like I'm the luckiest person in the world because I'm here at the happiest place on earth. Oh, you guys, how much I know. Hello? Oh yeah. Are you feeling it? Yeah, I thought so. Back in the day, it was the...
Okay, so that was a little bit of Charles Phoenix's Retro Disneyland slideshow for you,
Very
just
cool.
to get an idea of it. So the last thing we are going to discuss real quickly before we take off, actually, first off, I should introduce Jenny Lynn Knopp. She finally came in, sat down here with us. Make sure you get that mic up today. It's really loud in here.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, hello, everybody. Fantastic. So JL and I actually, we attended the Muppets panel that had, oh my gosh, Dave Goltz. It had Steve Whitmire, the puppeteer of Kermit the Frog.
Does the name sound familiar? Yeah.
Oh, never mind, JL. We're actually going to kick you off.
Just been kicked out of the building.
Just for a few moments.
Yeah. Sorry, but we have a special guest coming in. So
we were just talking about Charles Phoenix.
exactly.
And who walks in, but
Most gracious good afternoon. Are we on the air live?
we are live
Oh, yes,
on the
we are
air.
live.
Live on the air.
Live
So
on
watch
the
the fancy footwork.
There you go.
Thank you.
So I guess Craig got to see you last night. I got to see you this morning. Hilarious.
Thank you very much.
funny.
The Retro Disneyland slideshow. Yes, I love to look through the layers of time. One of my favorite ways to do that, besides driving around, is through other people's old Kodachrome slides, which I've been collecting, for like 25 years now from estate sales and flea markets and everything. And let's just get this out of the way. There we go. And so I have this, a lot of different theme shows, but one of my favorite shows to do is the Retro Disneyland slideshow, and one of my favorite subjects to find in other people's old pictures is, of course, hello, Disneyland.
Well, you grew up around Disney, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I grew up in Ontario, California. We used to go to Disneyland a million times a year. Well, I'm exaggerating, but you know how it is. And I've never lost the magic has never been lost for me.
Right.
It just never went away. So, I mean, not that it does, but, there are no guarantees in life. So,
Excellent. We had a great time watching it. What other shows do you do? I mean, you do a lot
well,
of
coming
Southern
up, I've
California
got
stuff.
the retro holiday show. That's at
okay.
holiday time, and that's all the holidays of the year. I've also got Anaheim Land. I can't even speak. I'm so excited. Anaheim Land.
You can take a look at some of the old motels.
Yes.
Okay.
That's called Anaheim Land, the Magic Kingdom, Inside and Out.
Okay. Cool.
So there's a lot of things in Anaheim
Right.
that are very unknown, that are
Yeah.
fascinating, interesting, and unique, and great, and all that. And we cover those. I have another show coming up. I believe it's October 6th called Downey Land. Hello, Downey, California. And who knew?
Shout out to Downey. Okay.
Yeah, no, you guys, there's stuff everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere. I just got back from a road trip where I went to Kansas City, and there's stuff there. The TWA rocket to the moon
You told that story. Right.
is on the roof. It's actually, they put another one on the roof of the old TWA headquarters.
Okay.
I can't even speak. Okay, let me
No
just
worries.
concentrate. TWA headquarters building,
Right.
Kansas City, Missouri. In 1956, actually, it was. They built a second TWA rocket to the moon, and they put it, the one like that was in Tomorrowland,
Right.
and the one that's now been resurrected in Tomorrowland. But there's one on the roof of the old TWA headquarters building in Kansas City, and the original one that was actually really there back in the day, which spent decades in a trailer park after it left being on the roof there a long time ago, is now in the Airline History Museum. So there are two TWA rocket to the moons in Kansas City right now. One
cool.
is the second one ever made,
Very cool.
and the other one is like, what would it be? I guess the fourth one, because we have the third one is
Right.
now in Tomorrowland. Once again.
Do you have a favorite old attraction or things that you
Oh,
like
yes,
to...
I do. My
Okay.
favorite attraction at Disneyland of all time is the Carousel of Progress,
There you
which
go.
is before your time. I think they ripped it out in 1974.
Okay. No.
Yeah. But it was a General Electric sponsored attraction that took you through time. It started, it showed household progress, basically, and through the invention of electricity.
Right.
And basically, it started in like the 1890s, and there's the streetcar's been wired up with electricity now. And I mean, it was just like, it taught me the layers of time as a child.
Right,
That's
right.
what I loved about it so much, and I've never let that go. And there was this message, the song, written by the Sherman Brothers. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every
they're singing
day.
at home along with you.
What?
They're singing along with you at home too.
They are? No, I love that song. I love that song
Yeah.
so much. And I mean, I kind of was just born an optimist. So just the combination of the layers of time and the kookiness of household, appliances,
Right.
and the kookiness of the ride and the genius of it,
Yeah.
and that song all together.
It's all the feel good.
Yeah.
The moments.
Yeah. I mean, and Disneyland is all about moments. I mean, that's kind of what Disneyland has more of than anywhere else on the planet, and what everywhere else really wishes they were is Disneyland. I mean, in reality, let's just get it out in the open. I mean, every town wishes it were Disneyland. Every other theme park wishes that it was. I mean, because basically what Disneyland teaches us is moments.
Right.
And that's what, downtowns that are being revitalized across the country now, I mean, they're really going for, moments, a place where you can stand there and go like, I'm not going to forget this.
Right.
This is memorable. This is, something unique, something special. So, Las Vegas kind of learned a lot from Disneyland.
Right. Now, if somebody wants to see you, where can they go? What's
Well,
your
you
website?
can go on my website, which is charlesphoenix.com, or
Awesome.
you can go to my Facebook page.
Okay.
Hello, Charles Phoenix. Those are the best two ways.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome.
Well, you also have books, right?
I do. I have my one book that has survived. I have had several books, but they all come and go. I might as well just get it out in the open. Is Southern California in the 50s. That's the one that actually grew legs.
Awesome.
And I think it's about 12 years old now, but because it's about the 50s, it doesn't really age.
Yeah.
So it's a coffee table picture book. And I think I say in the beginning, the mood is up, the standard of living is flying high, and prosperity rules, or something like that. I mean, that's really Southern California in the 50s. So, yeah, it's all good time fun. And, I just enjoy looking through the layers of time and dishing it up and serving it to people. And, Disneyland is such an easy sell. People just love it.
Right. Lots of
So
fans
it's
out
fun.
there.
Yeah. It's good times.
Charles, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it so
Really
much.
appreciate you guys
Appreciate you
inviting
stopping
me to
by.
be on WDWinfo.com. Did I say it right?
Not even close.
What is it?
WW Info.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, that's okay, though.
That's all right.
I did fine, right?
Thanks, Charles. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All
Okay,
right.
so everyone,
Awesome.
that was Charles Phoenix.
Thank
So definitely check him out if you ever are around for any one of his shows. And with that, oh, there we have JL back over there. So, do you want to come back in now, JL?
This is live, folks.
Yeah, it feels just like that the live broadcast of Disneyland whenever they went out on July 17th, 1955. Pretty much the same exact thing.
Good afternoon. I'm Mark Linkletter.
Anyways, back to the Muppets. JL, you and I attended this panel, and it was incredible.
It was flipping amazing.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Let me just turn your volume up a little bit more. Charles was very. He definitely knew how to project his voice. I'll say that. But no, I cannot say enough good things about that Muppet panel. So why don't you give us a little overview of what happened?
Okay, well, first off, it started with some preview clips of the upcoming show that will be airing soon. So hysterical. The humor in it is just top notch. And and after that, they introduced one by one the panelists. And there was quite a range. So there was the puppeteer for Gonzo, Rizzo, Pepe, Fozzie, Animal. They pulled out a couple other ones, but
there was definitely a wide variety, and I am already so tired at this point that I forgot the list. I know I posted on Twitter. It was definitely Dave Goltz who does Gonzo. He's probably the best, most well-known Muppet puppeteer right now, along with Steve Whitmire, who does Kermit, and then I know Matt Vogel was also there, as well as my God, I'm proving myself to be a very awful Muppet fan right now.
Go to Twitter, people.
Yeah, go to Twitter.
So they sat down and they were giving us a little bit of an overview about what the new upcoming show was going to be like, and they talked about how it's going to be like the modern day application as the old Muppet Show was. Whereas the old Muppet Show was kind of giving you a backstage look about how a variety show was produced, this one coming up is going to be a mockumentary. It looked more like in the style of maybe what The Office is like, except for it's going to be showing you the backstage view of producing a talk show, because Miss Piggy apparently is starting her own late night talk show. She's a host. And the whole cast, comes on board to help produce this thing. And the Mayhem Band is going to be the band for the show, and obviously Kermit's producing it. And we were promised that we were going to be seeing them more raw, more vulnerable, more real than they've ever been before. We're going to not just be seeing behind the scenes of how to produce Piggy's talk show, but also a glimpse inside their personal lives, like what they do after the show. So we were told Rolf is going to be having his own tavern where the crew goes to hang out when taping wraps, and we're just going to get to see some of that kind of stuff, and it was fun, and everyone was really excited. But then they actually pulled out the Muppets from behind the seat, and everyone went nuts.
Yes.
All of a sudden, we were freaking out because we're sitting in the same room as Gonzo and Animal and Fozzie, and they're talking to us. And then the people started lining up, and they were asking questions, and the Muppets were answering the questions, and it was phenomenal. And then the most amazing thing that has ever happened in my life took place. Do we talk about that now, or did you want to get
we
in
could just
something
talk about it
else?
really briefly. Yeah.
Okay. So then they took audience members, volunteers, and brought them up on stage to put on some puppets and do puppeteering with the Muppet people. And I got to be one of them.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. And so I got to be Buster Bunny, and as Buster Bunny was interacting with Kermit, I just, my 3-year-old self was about to undo all of her potty training. It was amazing. I got to talk to Kermit.
No, it was a highlight. I mean,
Do we have pictures of that?
We do. We have
Good,
pictures
good.
of all the event. Unfortunately, because of some of the material that was shown in that presentation, we weren't allowed to film it. We were allowed to take pictures. So I literally just flooded Twitter with the pictures of it, including the pictures of JL up there. So definitely go back in time and look at all of those, just because it was incredibly outstanding. I got so excited because I thought they were coming to pick me, and then like you.
And they said,
Too slow.
Plucked me right out. I'm still a little bit emotional about it. I was shaking. I was nearly crying. I couldn't speak and form words. it's quite amazing that I can do so now.
And that's the best part about D23 is all of these one-of-a-kind experiences that you really don't get anywhere else, especially as a Disney fan. And that's what D23 is all about. It is the fan club, the official fan club for Disney fans. And it's, this is just the morning of day one. We still have another 5 hours
2.5 days,
to go, plus 2.5 days as well. Good point. And there's going to be a lot more surprises along the way, but we actually have to get going here because we need to start getting back to work and getting back to checking everything out, so we actually have something to talk about on our next broadcast. So I want to thank everyone who was a part of this today in this broadcast. Special thanks to Tom, Charles Phoenix doing his interview, JL, Rhino, Michael Bowling, and we'll be back a little bit later on tonight with another broadcast. We're still working out the time. It'll most likely be 6. It might be 7. We just have to wait and see right now what we're going to be able to do. But we'll be back later on with another episode of the special Diz Unplugged from D23. So thank you, everyone, and we will see you again.